warned that the number of drug users there will double to 8 million in 2 years. The biggest problem for Russia lies outside its borders. The main supply lines run through the now independent republics of the old Soviet Union. Our Moscow correspondent Mark Webster went to Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia, a conduit for heroin traffickers and a haven for growers of cannabis.
Harvest time in Central Asia. But these are policemen, destroying the most lucrative cash crop in the region, cannabis, before the drugs mafia can collect it. Hot work in sweltering temperatures, yet with 25 acres of prime marijuana in this one field, it's clearly only a token gesture in the war against drugs. The head of the local drug squad told me there are hundreds of acres of cannabis here, but he and his men have neither the money nor the equipment to fight an industry worth over £100 million a year.
I would say this is the easiest way to make money. In a short time, they can make enough to live well. The economy is pushing people into this, all the more so because there is a huge market since the Soviet Union collapsed.
In the basement of the regional police station is the poultry haul of drugs and weapons seized recently. In the cupboard, 20 kilos of heroin, a minuscule fraction of the 300 tons this region produces every year. The problem is that drugs are everywhere. Cannabis grows wild by the roadside and in people's gardens. There's nothing I can do, this woman angrily told the drug squad. Destroy it. Meanwhile, in the mountains, opium-bearing poppies supply the growing demand for hard drugs. An armed police raid on one of many small laboratories supplying local addicts caught 3 men preparing drugs for sale. Police showed us what they'd found, but admit they're powerless against the big, illegal drugs barons.
Certainly here on the border, it's immediately obvious why government and police here can't or won't do more to stop the flood of drugs. Just a few minutes walk in that direction and I'd be across an open border into Kazakhstan. And there are not only around here these huge fields of cannabis, but there's also tons of heroin in transit from Afghanistan through here to Western Europe, and indeed Great Britain. But more and more, those drugs are heading north, into Russia itself.
Junkies Alley in Kaliningrad, 3,000 miles away in northern Russia. Here, police told me, children are used to sell heroin to a rapidly growing number of addicts.